Hey everybody, welcome to John D Podcast. I'm your host, John D. Miller. Welcome to episode number 60, everybody. Number 60, numero 60 in the old Espanol language. That's right. 1078, going on 1079 days as I begin to record this of no booze. Yeah, no booze. Yeah, no booze. I just said that, right? Yeah, no booze. How are yees? How are yous? How are y'alls? Everybody keeps asking me, are you feeling 50 yet, John? Are you feeling it? Do you feel? I've been 50 for not even a month, people. Come on. It was back on the 18th, January 18th. No, I don't feel 50 yet. Okay? If that's all right with you. I don't feel 50. I feel like I'm still 21 in my mind. I still have hopes and dreams and everything else. But I got to admit, I feel like I have the body of a 50-year-old. So if that is the case, and you keep asking that question, I felt like I was 50 for years, okay? For a long time. Anyways, yeah, thanks everybody for the birthday wishes, even belated or not. I know my last episode came out on the 19th, but did have a little soiree. My lovely wife, Liz, she is always awesome, and she managed to scrape together a few people that actually still like me. And actually had a little kind of surprise soiree. I had some other people here, some family from out of town. It was cool. Thank you to anybody and everybody who listened to episode 59. Yeah, you guys really seemed to like it. Kind of brought it back a little bit. I was happy to see that. I thought, man, every time I feel like I reel some of you guys in to being permanent listeners, something happens and then I get a little low, get a little dip, and then no. But this one, once again, about 7 to 9 days after release of the episode, a bunch of people started listening. So whatever. Thanks. I appreciate it. What have you guys been up to? I actually went out, did some more comedy, did some more open mics. Nothing major, but I did do 2 shows last Thursday of last week. To this place called The Camel. They'd have like a happy hour open mic, which is different. It's kind of cool though, because I ended up doing an open mic later. So the timing wise was great. But it was weird because I'm sitting there, I'm trying to do my set. I was like the number 4 comic on the show. And right as I'm getting ready to go on, I could kind of hear like the band next door. It's the same place, but they have a separate room for music. And they have live music there every night. And I could hear the drummer warming up the bass drum. I could hear that. And then I could hear the bass guy kind of like, blah, 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 and then like they were just playing. I swear they heard me. They're like, yeah, fuck this guy. We're gonna do our sound check loud as balls. I don't know. It reminded me of a lot of things. One, and I've talked about it before, is that bar live music is not the same as going to see a live concert, because I don't want to see some lady that's an accountant by day, and then a backup singer in a B-52's cover band doing Love Shack. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hang out and listen to it. And it's usually shitty. I don't know. These guys actually sounded pretty good. Somebody told me it was a Tool song. I am pretty familiar with Tool. I didn't recognize it. But anyways, I digress. So I went and did that, and it was interesting. That was the last episode. It's going to be interesting. And then I went to a place called Coalition Theater, which is sort of a different kind of a place. They usually do improv, but they have an open mic. They're very cool, very supportive people. Very nice people. Very nice theater. Really was. It was weird. It was sort of a side theater. So the building was narrow, which in downtown Richmond, a lot of the buildings are very old. Not Egyptian old, but or anything like that. And the buildings tend to be narrow. So what they did was they the stage on one side, seating on the other. And you got to kind of walk down. But very cool. Went and did that. So yeah, so the comedy comeback sort of continues. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Where am I at? Jeez, I'm already burning up the clock here. I had a good time. Thanks to the Camel and Coalition Theater. All right. Speaking of entertainment, we're gonna get right back into this, because I literally was looking, not obsessed with it, but I've been very much into trying to read a bit more about what is going on with this whole situation with the Court Jester. I talked about it on the last episode, and it stars Pauly Shore, and he is portraying Richard Simmons, who is, 80s, 90s. I guess he really kind of started in the 70s, but You know, we all know Richard Simmons. If you're my age, if you're 50 years old like I am, you know who Richard Simmons is. Okay? And I talked about this last episode, but in case you don't know, Pauly Shore, they made this short film, he and some other people, where he plays Richard Simmons. And it's kind of basically like a teaser or a treatment to what they hope will be a biopic. Now, Richard Simmons is not on board. He continues to make statements saying he does not want his story told. And I get it. I understand where where he's not. Somebody made a good point that I read. I don't know who it was. It was on, online, social media, was saying that, maybe he doesn't want a movie made about him because he's not dead yet. Now, I don't know. Would you want to see the movie that somebody makes about you? Because I got to tell you, so the short film premiered the day after my birthday, the 19th, January 19th. In Utah, Sundance in Utah. It actually got a lot of really great reviews. I watched it today, and I got to tell you, I want to see this goddamn movie. I want to see this movie. It is so, I've been obsessed about it. I've been waiting to watch it because I really wanted to have it sort of fresh in my mind. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it did to me. And I watched it today. And I got to tell you, I want to see this movie. I know Richard Simmons was very popular with women, but I saw a lot of the stuff he did, and I always thought he was a funny character. I really did. Richard Simmons is not his real name. I don't know if you know that or not. I'm not even going to say what his actual name is. You can find out. You can Google it. Had a pretty good long article about it. I know he's from New Orleans originally. I know at one point he was very overweight. And started exercising and decided he wanted to help people. And he has continually said no. But it got very good reviews at Sundance. And it has gotten very good reviews on YouTube. 4 million views total. I might try to share the link on my social medias. John D Podcast on Facebook. John D Comedy and John D Podcast on Twitter, X, whatever. JonDpodcom, Instagram, and Threads. I might try to share it on there. I don't know. But you can find it. Go on YouTube. The Court Jester, Pauly Shore. Man, I love the scene that they did with it. And I'm not going to give it away, but it's him talking to somebody. It's him. Oh, I really want to see it. Now, I am a Pauly Shore fan. I know, but Pauly Shore. Fuck off. You know what? You don't like Pauly Shore movies, then maybe you're just not the type of Gen Xer that I am. The weasel. But this is not that. I mean, there are times I will say, I don't want to give anything away in the short film, but there are times, a couple of times where I'm like, all right, it's really good. I want to see this movie. All right, what was it? Biodome? That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Could have been better. Encino Man, come on, right? Sean Astin, him, Brendan Fraser, right? Come on, that guy won an Oscar, right? But he didn't do it in Encino Man. But he did go on to win. What was it? The Whale. I've still not seen that, but I haven't just been in the mindset, I guess, to see it. And nobody else wants to see it. It's actually probably one of those movies that I'm like, probably shouldn't watch that by myself, or at least start to, because what would happen is I would start to watch it, and at some point I would start to fucking cry, like I do every time that Rudy runs on the field in the movie Rudy. I was telling my son about Rudy, the movie, the other day. And I said, we should watch that. It's a good movie about following your dreams and persevering. And half the story is made up. But you know what? I don't know. That's what somebody said. I really don't give a shit. It's a great story. And I feel like I would watch The Whale and just, no. It's supposed to be very emotional. And I feel like I would start watching it. And then my wife and my kid would come home or something. Are you okay? Why are you in the dark? What are you doing? I'm fine. I just tell you guys I love you. Like, I've seen clips, so I know some of what happens. But anyways, look, Brendan Fraser won an Oscar. Has Sean Astin ever won an Oscar? Has he? Hold on. So, no, Sean Astin has not. I don't know why he would. I know he got nominated for some stuff for, what was it, Lord of the Rings, I guess, which I think that movie just won on the size of the movie. I don't think the actors were all that. Right. Anyways. But Sean Astin has not. But then Brendan Fraser has. Let Pauly Shore do it. I think he's due. And I think this could be the project that really does it for him. Okay? And I really do. I feel like I want to see this movie. I want to see this movie. If I had money, I would pay for it to be made. Like, you know what I mean? I would. I'd say, let's do it. But I would also try to get Richard Simmons to come on board, or at least give a blessing, or try to have some input. I know it's Hollywood and stuff like that. And, you know, maybe that's why he doesn't want it, is because he knows how Hollywood is done. And I have said that in my comments to people about it. And I feel like it, you know, so I get that aspect of it. But I saw some footage today. I saw it today. I believe it was a couple of days ago. It was on Entertainment Tonight. It was shared on YouTube. But it was Pauly Shore. I think he was at LAX, and he was, you know, getting off a plane. And when the actual footage starts, it's Pauly. He's signing a couple autographs, and people are kind of going around him and taking selfies, which it was pretty funny. This guy holding this camera or whatever is asking Pauly Shore about the whole thing with Richard Simmons, but there's this woman walking along next to him, and he just turns like, I thought the woman was literally with Pauly Shore with the way she was walking next to him. And then he kind of stopped and turned and looked at her, and she goes, yeah. Then she just leaned in with her phone and goes, act like you know me, and takes a selfie. And then, you know, she's like, oh, thank you, Pauly. You're so nice. And then this other dude walked up. He was kind of a scruffy looking dude. And he just walked up and was like, hey, Pauly. And he just goes, you don't have to say you know me. And he just takes the picture. I just thought it was a funny side note. But what he was saying, though, was one reason why I want to see this movie so much more. Not just because I really, really enjoyed the short film and what I think could end up being a really good movie, was he was saying how, one of the things he said, Pauly's going, you know, I don't come from a vindictive place. I'm not a vindictive person. He said, I'm not trying to do this to make fun of Richard. He said, I love Richard. He's an awesome character. And I want to tell his story. And he said, you know, it's one of those sort of things where it's like, if you build it, he will come. And so maybe he will. Maybe he won't. Maybe they give him an advanced screening. And he goes, I like it. But what are you going to do? You make a movie. And then he goes, I don't like it. What are you going to do? You're going to make the movie. It's going to come out regardless. But one of the things I liked about it, because I don't think Pauly Shore is going to screw around with this. I don't think he's trying to make the Encino Man of, you know, gay fitness trainer type people. I really believe that he has, with conviction, decided that he wants to make this. So I want to see it. Watch the short film. Just watch it. It's like 10 minutes long. I'm telling you. I want to see it. Just the way he talked about it. I was very much, I don't know. I was sitting there, and then I went to, we had dinner. I was telling Liz about it. Of course, the kid was like, who the hell is Richard Simmons? Like, yeah, don't worry about it. We know. You'll find out. But I truly believe if you give Pauly Shore a chance on this, I don't know. No, I do know. I do know that I'm going to give him a chance to do it. Now, part of this goes, though, what is Richard Simmons going to get out of it? You know, they're using his likeness, his name, his everything. What goes to him? What benefit does he get out of it? Is something I thought of. You know, what is he going to get? Pauly Shore is going to make a ton of money. Studio Warner Brothers makes a ton of money. What does Richard Simmons get? It's his life. It's his hard work. It's his passion that he put into it. You know, when you are somebody like Richard Simmons, or anything creative, comedian, a musician, a designer, an artist, you are the product, you are the brand. He is the brand. What does his brand get out of this? Other than people going, oh, he's cool. And seeing what I think could be a transcendent performance by Pauly Shore, in my opinion. I really do. And I think it should be given the chance. Now, Richard Simmons, like I said, I see both sides of this. You know, is it going to take something just simply monetary to make this happen? I don't know. I don't think that's the only thing that Richard Simmons feels about it. I just find this story really intriguing. I really, really do. But I want to see that movie. I want to see that movie. Now, Pauly Shore has also been in the news lately because apparently he owns the Comedy Store. Pauly Shore has been around stand-up and comedy and everything else for, a long time. His mom, Mitzi Shore, owned the Comedy Store. Some people know this, some people don't. And I don't know, if you don't know what the Comedy Store is like, maybe you've heard about it, you don't know what it is. It is like going to the Jedi Temple of stand-up comedy. It is, it is one of those type of places that you, as a comic, you have to go to. I've been there. But apparently what had happened was there was an incident with a father and his daughter were at the Comedy Store and got into a physical they got into an argument with Pauly Shore. Don't know why. Haven't got the details about it. And that one of the security guards got too rough with the father and proceeded to throw him out. That Pauly Shore encouraged it, and that it has caused injuries to the father and emotional and traumatic injuries to the daughter to see her father. Oh, and they are also suing for what they call it, maintaining a proper, what was it? Oh, it was negligence. That's what it was. Negligence for maintaining a viable trained employee. So that's what they're. Now that does not. I don't know. I don't know what happened in the situation. I have not been able to find much else about it. When I was looking something up, there is an article that I'm not going to go read right now because I'm recording and I'm in the mindset, and that's how I'm getting sidetracked. Like I'm recording and then I end up reading this, then I end up, that one, then I end up reading something else, and the next thing I know, it's goddamn 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, why did I do that again? I could have been recording, man. I don't know what's up with that, but from what I'm reading, a lot of it seems like it's bullshit. Interesting side note, really. And I hope everybody's fine in the whole thing. And I'm sure that I'm thinking, maybe in one way, the people got roughed up and maybe hurt. I don't know. But also, I do see where maybe it could be a little bit of a money grab. So, because Pauly and the store are worth, lots and lots of monies, man. Lots and lots of monies. All right, where are we at? What am I doing? What am I doing the rest of the show on? Jeez. Yeah. But make that Richard Simmons movie, huh? Come on. I would definitely pay some sort of money to see that, right? I think I'm not alone in that. We got to take a break because of things I got to do and just timing of everything that goes into an episode. Make sure you check out my short comedy album I did on YouTube, my brand new YouTube channel. Well, it's been up for a few months, but I'm still putting it together, really. But it's available on there for free. It's only about 20 minutes long. It's called Quick Burn, a short comedy album. It's by myself, and it's got some older bits, a couple of new things in there that I'm working on. Whether they end up making it into what will be my future act, I don't know. Available on YouTube, JonDpodcom. Make sure you follow me on social media, John D Podcast, John D Comedy on Twitter, X, whatever. JonDpodcom on Instagram and Threads, John D Podcast on Facebook. And don't forget, you can support the show, John D Podcom on Venmo. Still not too late to get me a belated birthday present. I know, I'm not one of those people. Yeah, my birthday. It was my birthday not long ago. You could still buy me some. When was your birthday? Oh, it was January. Oh, well, it's September, so you can pay for your own niçoise salad. Okay. All right. What are we doing on the second half of the show? We're going to be doing a little bit what I want to go into, of course, one of my favorite things in the world, from out of this world, sort of. Star Wars, Lucasfilm, their big announcement. Then we're going to talk about some Super Bowl stuff. And then, I don't know, we'll see what else we can get into for the very end. I have a couple of ideas, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. All right. I'll be back in just a moment. So stick around. More John D Podcast right after this. When I quit booze for good, one thing I learned was to always keep your palate entertained. And one of my new favorite ways to make it happen is BlendJet 2. BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even an NA margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease. BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking up the whole house. Lasts for 15 plus blends and recharges quickly via USB-C. Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you're good to go. With over 30 plus colors and patterns to choose from, there's a BlendJet 2 to complement just about any style. What are you waiting for? Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today. And be sure to use the promo code JonDpod12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to the quality, power, and innovation of the BlendJet 2. They guarantee you'll love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with BlendJet 2 Portable Blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code JonDpod12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today and get the best deal ever. BlendJet 2. And welcome back to part 2 of episode 60 of John D Podcast. I'm your host, John D. Miller. How was your break, everybody? How was it? Mine was just a few minutes. Hope yours was okay. Thank you to BlendJet once again for being a sponsor on the show. JonDpod12 at checkout, 12% off, free 2-day shipping. Yeah. As I was saying before the break, and something I wanted to get to, but we just kind of ran out of time because I got going on stuff. It happens. I was talking about how the big announcement from Lucasfilm, of course, being Star Wars related, and that is how in May of 2026, the next Star Wars movie coming out will be the one from the Mandalorian timeline. I guess that's what you could call it. From that saga, that part of the timeline in the Star Wars universe and everything that goes along with it. May of 2026, The Mandalorian and Grogu. That's what they say. That's what the name of it's going to be. You know, it's kind of giving it away, if you ask me. Because, you know, you don't want to oversaturate on one character, right? Can't do that. We will definitely see him in the next couple of years, but I don't understand the title, though. That can't be just the title, man. The Mandalorian Grogu. I don't know. I'll believe when I see it. I mean, we know part of what it is. If you've watched now, if there's spoiler alerts ahead, sorry. But Grand Admiral Thrawn made his return in Ahsoka. And he's the blue guy. You saw him in Star Wars Rebels and stuff like that. And, you know, he's a baddie. He's a real baddie. He's a badass and he's a baddie. And he's a little baddie. Yeah. So, like baddie in the head. Okay. And that all comes from originally some books were written. It was Heir to the Empire. Really what happened when Disney took over, they threw a lot of stuff away. And that became what they call legends. And they have canon, which is stuff that they say really did happen. It's the actual history of everything. Grand Admiral Thrawn, the Heir to the Empire series, got kind of thrown away. And that was supposed to be the next 3 of what it was. Luke and Leia are in it. And in this series, Han and Leia are expecting twins. It's a whole thing. It was a whole thing that was supposed to be done for 7, 8, and 9. And Disney, when they came in, they redid some shit. I don't know if you knew that or not, but they did. Would this have been better? I don't know, but I tell you the way they're doing it right now. They pulled down different pieces of it. And one of the things they have is Grand Admiral Thrawn. The books were written by Timothy Zahn, and it was Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and then the final one, third one, was called The Last Command. But they didn't do that. They have Rey and Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, and that whole thing. So what The Mandalorian is doing is you saw Thrawn came back. We've been hearing his name and hearing his name. Mandalorian and Ahsoka. Everybody's after him. So, all of that, and that's the best name you can come up with. I feel like it's definitely going to be too big. So what would be your guess on what it is, huh? You can email me, JonDpodcom@gmail.com. Let me know your opinion. I love getting emails. Love reading them. Don't get them all the time, but every once in a while I do. Sometimes I get 2. And, of course, anytime we talk about anything nerdy or geeky here on the podcast, it is brought to you in part by MondoMonsterwear.com. Podcast at checkout for 10% off your entire order. MondoMonsterwear.com. So, moving on. We're going to move to the NFL now, which I know. We all know by now what's going to happen. The San Fran 49ers are going to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, everybody. Whoopity fucking do. I felt bad for Lions fans. First off, let's address this. The Lions would have been a great story. I definitely was pulling for them. Obviously, the Cowboys were out. I really did. I mean, to have gone seasons where you've won no games and, anything like that, and knowing what it's like to root for a team that at times is not very good, or, they're not winning much, and what that's like, or they just never get there, But I think that was a great thing that they did. Great season. And I think it's something that any Lions fan should be proud of that. And I think, hopefully, I think for them, I give good will to them. I never root against the Lions unless they're playing my team. I think we all have those teams in sports that we'd like to watch. Be a fan of the of the sport. Like, I never root against the Cleveland Browns. I never do. Usually. I don't. I mean, unless they're playing against my team. And I think that would have been pretty good. But, I think that Niners team, they're a second half team. They really turn it on the second half. And that's what they did. And that's exactly what they did. And that's exactly what Brock Purdy did. Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft, right? Mr. Irrelevant. Look what happens. You never know. You never know. Good job, Lions and Niners now. And now we have to root for them. I do, against the Kansas City Chiefs. And look, if you're a Swiftie out there, don't get upset. I doubt you're listening to this podcast. And it is perfectly okay. And I'm not going to sit here and go on some big thing, people, and talking about it over and over again. Lord knows I just watched a whole segment that Seth Meyers did that I could never put anything close to it out, especially just doing audio. He's got pictures and shit. I'm not going to go that much on it, but the people who are saying that it's rigged, that Super Bowl is going to be rigged now, so that Taylor Swift can endorse Joe Biden to help him win the... Oh, God. What kind of... I don't think you're even grasping at straws. I don't know what you're grasping at now. Is it your own nose hair that's making you... Like, are you pulling those and it's making you have these delusional, weird fucking thoughts? Look, I'm not saying I'm not doing the whole thing with, like, Britney, like, leave Taylor alone. I'm not doing that. But at the same time, it's not like that. I do get annoyed when every time they show Taylor Swift, she has this look on her face like no matter how many games she's gone to, she's never seen football before. But I tell you what, she's gotten better at knowing when to cheer. So, okay. Why don't you cut her a little slack? All right. But I don't think there's any type of a conspiracy to try to... It's so stupid, but, it's going to make everything really interesting. I'm just waiting for, because Usher is doing the halftime show. Would Taylor just be like, hey, I'm in the building if you need me. And then she just comes out, like, no, you're not Taylor. Now, here's on the flip side of that. If they do put her in it, I'm going to be really upset. All right, who do I pick? I'm taking the Niners because I don't know. Yeah, I have to. I'm just saying. I just want to have to see those people just celebrating anymore. And because, and I think Mahomes is whiny. I know. I say it. I have multiple people I've talked to about it have said the same thing. So it's something doesn't go right. He puts his arms up in the air, makes, right in front of all these people. You screwed up. So I got to go Niners now. I mean, screw it. Just give it to the Niners. I can't. Wow, we are going up there, huh? Already. Let's get to our charities, if you don't mind. No Kid Hungry. Many school-age children are in situations where the best meal of the day for them comes from school. No Kid Hungry helps children with meals when children in need are away from school, such as weekends and holidays. No Kid Hungry. Wounded Warrior Project. The brave men and women who serve our country deserve the best care we can give them after they return home. Some of them have wounds that are external and or internal that they might need help with, or even just accessible housing. BestFriends.org is making a difference by helping homeless dogs and cats in shelters be adopted faster and in more numbers. Their goal is to have the entire country no-kill shelter by the year 2025. Check out these orgs and support them. And after some charity, if you got time for a little chair of me, you can support the show and everything that JonDpodcom does on the official listener support app, Venmo, at JonDpodcom. Okay? Actually, you know what? I need to run out and do some stuff real quick, okay? I'll be right back. Literally. All right? Just hang out for 1 second. All right, I'm back. How was that, huh? Did you like that? That was time-lapse. That was time-lapse sound. It's a brand new invention here at Johnny Podcast. No, I paused it. Actually, you know what I did? I went downtown, did another comedy set. I was two things happened while I was gone. I'm gonna talk about this one first, okay? I went downtown, Richmond, down to Scott's Edition, and went to the Barrel Roll comedy show hosted by Mr. Will Miner. That show was hot, man. That was awesome. Really was. I was sitting here, I was working on stuff and working on the podcast a little bit. And then I said, man, I can make this show if I go right now. Sent him a message and he said, yeah. He said, come on down. He said, would you mind going on last? And I said, no problem. And it was like 24 or 25. It was a crazy time. Place was absolutely, where was it? The Ardent Brewery. It's like the Barrel Room. A lot of comedy in breweries lately. Anybody notice that? It seems like every brewery I know, every comic I know has some sort of something going on at a brewery at some point. And it's probably better off that I'm not a drinker anymore. But anyways, rolled down to that, had an awesome time, went last. Crowd was fantastic, even at the very end, which was amazing for a crowd to stay that attuned and just very supportive and very cool. Saw some comics that were, man, stand-up comedy is alive and well in Richmond, Virginia, people. I'm telling you. Somebody called me and they said, hey, we're looking for a new spot to come and look for, comedy. I would say go to Richmond. I'm not even saying me. I'm just talking about some of these people that are telling jokes in this town. My set did not go. I changed it up once I got there. Had a little less time than I thought I was going to have. That's all. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. But, I should be better than that. Really. I should be able to handle that and just move on through it. Overall, good last per minute. Some segments coming together, which is very cool, which is bound to happen when you're a comedian and you actually go out and actually practice for once. You lazy son of a... Yeah, I'm talking to myself. No, I did. I just working on and said, all right, I'm going to go. And I'm glad I did. The other thing that happened, though, saw that Carl Weathers had passed away. Of course, a lot of people know him as Apollo Creed. And also Grief Karga on The Mandalorian, for which he got nominated for a Primetime Emmy. I remember when Apollo Creed died in Rocky IV. Whew, man, I'm sitting in the theater. There's no easy way out. That was the exact justice. Goes and beats him up. Beats up Drago. It's just another part. It's another part of, I guess, being 50. Was that people that I watched, entertained me as a child, pass on. And it's a reminder of life. Do the best with it that you can. All right. Oh, Action Jackson. What was the line where he's driving? Oh, sorry. I dropped my pen. What was the line that he had? He was driving the car in the house. I remember. It was hot. Hotter. And then before he bashed the wall, he's like, hottest. And he goes through the wall. It's just like a Pontiac Fiero. That's all it was. So, but actually, I enjoyed that movie as a kid, so I'm not knocking it. Had Craig T. Nelson in it. Come on. Playing a bad guy. Huh? He's good at playing one of those mid guys. He was on Coach, But he played true on bad guy in that one. So, all right. Rest in peace to Carl Weathers. And now I don't really know how to leave it out. Other than to say executive producers for John D Podcast are Tom Hancock and Liz Miller. Thanks to them each for helping to make this happen in their own ways. This episode was recorded and produced by yours truly, John D. Miller, in the Amber Tree Media Studio. Don't forget blendjet.com. John D Pod 12 is your code for 12% off and free shipping. MondoMonsterwear.com. Podcast at checkout for 10% off your entire order. I guess I'm just exclusive because it's just podcast. I don't know. That's what they gave me. That's what they gave me, told me to say. Don't forget YouTube. You go on YouTube, the John D Podcom channel. This is a little comedy thing I did called Quick Burn, a short comedy album. And to anybody out there who I know, they maybe hear me for the first time. Battling addiction is not easy. It's not something that to be taken lightly, and that it's something to be proud of. If you're starting out or if you're way ahead, it doesn't matter. You're doing what is supposed to be done because nobody should ever live like that. Okay. All right. I might have a bunch of work coming up soon, which will preclude me from doing this, but it's for real money. If you want to go on JonDpodcom on Venmo. Okay. All right. I got to get out of here. Okay. Thank you so much. This has been episode number 60, numero 60 in the old Espanol language. That's right. Of John D Podcast. I've been your host, John D. Miller. Thanks again for listening. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Later for you.